It's good day. Yeah, welcome to another fantastic edition of 360 Sports. My name is Mudashiru Shitu. I'm your host and anchor of today's program, and definitely, I'm sure a lot of people have been watching us live and just dropping their comments on Facebook, on Twitter, and not forgetting Instagram. And I'm sure you all know it's going to be another fantastic edition on today's program. I'm not going to be doing this alone. I have a special guest in the house. I have a man that has done so much to the promotion of Nigerian Football League, the NPFL. I have a man called Mr. Pascal Mbe in the house. Mr. Pascal.
Good afternoon, Mudashiru.
It's good to see you here.
Are you sure I'm really special?
Yeah, special, seriously. I'm sure audience and viewers in the house will acknowledge that. Yeah, why do I say Mr. Pascal is special and is all of his team? Nigerian Professional Football League has been going abounds. A lot of reasons why a lot of people have been watching the Nigerian Football League. It's gone away from what we know it from the past. But there's still a lot of things to be done. One of these innovative about the league is that Mr. Pascal and the rest of his team brought about something new that's never been done in Nigerian Football League before. That's talking about a comical way of telling how Nigerian football is being played. So perhaps you've not seen so much of a thing like that as regards to Nigerian Football League in comics and in ways to actually illustrate the players you see on the screen, the coaches you see on the screen, the administrators you see on the screen in Nigerian professional football. And they've gone beyond that. They've done even something for the World Cup. Though in comic also, how to illustrate how Nigerian qualified for the World Cup. Mr. Pascal, how's it been so far in the challenges of trying to make sure we buy into this new idea to the Nigerian Professional Football League?
As we already know, it's an innovative one, very interesting one. And I can tell you for a fact that the public have really accepted it very well. I'm very sure at the stadium you see many people like holding it, even when they're watching, when the football match is going on, which shows that, yes, they're interested in it. Time ago, someone was telling me inside the bus, he saw people arguing about, what was drawn in there. They really loved it. And that's how interesting it could be. We're talking about challenges now. Even the league itself has its own challenges, talking about sponsorship, talking about how they could take the league to the next level. That's the same problem or challenge, as you said, we're also facing too. So I think the sponsorship part has been one area that we really need, the backing and all, in it. So talking about this magazine, the comic magazine, we want you to touch the ends of Nigeria, if possible, the ends of the world, because we know Nigerians are everywhere across the globe, in diaspora and everywhere. So I can remember someone taking it to the US, and he was like, his child wants other editions. He's really interested in it. That shows that, yes, we really know what we're doing. It means someone far away from Nigeria who doesn't watch the NPFL can still follow the NPFL.
Pascal, how, in what way has this promoted the Nigerian Professional Football League?
It has really, because I can tell you that a lot of young kids, that's the younger generation, all they know is the English Premier League, and that has been, what they see every time. But looking at this comic magazine, it's been one way they've realized that, yes, there's a league being played at their own backyard, and they could also follow it. Now they see an Ayimba, they see a Sunshine Stars, they go ask their dad, this team, what have they done in the past? The dad starts telling them, and Enugu Rangers were big champions in the country before, and they were asking their parents, what happened, all along. So these are the things that we're trying to bring back, because if the younger generation can be interested in this, means that the future of Nigerian football is surely safe.
Okay, before we go to that topic on our schedule today, the LMC, the League Management Company, how have they accepted that? We know there's always a bottleneck as regards to acceptance of some innovation. Have they accepted that so far so good?
Talking about the League Management Company, I'm very sure that I'm very much aware of what we're doing. And I can tell you that, yes, they are really behind us. They really know what we do. And I'm very sure they will surely support us in every way and any area we want.
Okay, and it's a World Cup season, and you brought on for the World Cup, and we saw some of them, you see, right now is about the qualification into what motivated that. Is it going to be, we're going to look beyond the Super Eagles or the league, or in subsequent edition we see the Super Falcons having a magazine like this?
I must tell you, the Nigeria Football Comic is not just talking to one area or just for one particular category of people. It's for, from the name already, Nigeria Football means it's for everything Nigerian football. You know, as you keep on saying, it's just the resources maybe that could just maybe limit us a little bit onto what we can do. But I can tell you, from now on, we will surely be touching everything Nigerian football. You've seen what we've done with the league. You've seen what we've done now with the Super Eagles. And I'm very sure, you know, the Super Falcons can't be left out and other cadre of the national teams.
Yeah, thank you very much. And away from that, we will not go back. We will not come to the Super Falcons. Super Falcons has qualified for this year edition of the African Women Cup of Nations. It was an interesting moment at the Agege Stadium where the Super Falcons defeated Gambian national sides 7-0 on aggregate. So far, so good since the new head of coach.
Yeah.
Have you noticed anything positive as regards to the Super Falcons?
Talking about the Super Falcons, I must tell you the major challenge they've always had is breaking it into the global stage, because I think they've conquered Africa already. We all know already they've conquered Africa. Is getting to that next level. But if we're talking about the man Thomas Denebi, from the WAFU tournament, that was his debut, I must tell you, with the national team, and he came in third in that competition. That he was without his foreign legion, I must tell you. So, but I can tell you that he's trying to maybe see what he can do with the home-based players, and maybe in that WAFU tournament, he was able to know, okay, who can I add into this team? But we still know that the Super Falcons, the strength lies with the foreign players, and I'm very sure that, yes, I can tell you, well, with what we've seen so far, it's like an 8 over 10 for him.
Okay, yeah, well, as crew, the 360 Sports crew were live at the venue. I wasn't part of those celebrating the goals because I knew it was going to be a walk-away for us, yeah, against the Gambian side. Yeah. Now, it takes me back to the 8-0 against France. That's Thomas' first game in charge, and that's one of his few games when as the new head coach. Don't you think, how long do you think it will take us to really break into the global stage?
Talking about breaking into the global stage, I think, as they always say, charity begins at home. And let's talk about our own league. I think in Africa, when you talk about female football league, we are one of the nations that are doing so well, and we're not even doing too well that we can do. Talking about the lady in charge of that, Aisha Falode, she's been one lady who has spearheaded that association or that group, and she's done so well, you know, looking at what she's done in this little time. But I know that, yes.
Pascal,
yeah.
sorry for taking that, but my question still remains how the Super Falcons can break into global.
That is
We've won almost like more than 8 editions of the African Nations Cup.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, we were beaten by France 8-0. With the coming of the foreign coach, which is the second foreign coach we had, the Super Falcons, do you think they can do so well, even if they go out of the World Cup, get into the World Cup proper?
That's what I'm telling you. You know, it all starts from home, because the quality of players we can churn out from our league and where they can also go to, because we know, yes, you need to compete amongst the best. That is getting our players into Europe, play the female UEFA Champions League. Right now we have the likes of, like our best player, Asisat Oshuala, is out there in China. Onome, the captain on the day against Gambia, is also in China. Paranozie is in France. Some other players in Sweden. You know, you can see that where these players are playing at the moment, they're not still playing with the best. But I can tell you that as time goes on, if you can get quality players from the league and have maybe a direct relationship with quality clubs in Europe where these players can still go out and their talents are well harnessed, I can tell you that before you know it, we should definitely be conquering the world.
Thank you. Hope sometime we tell that. And apart from the goals, a lot of journalists were waiting for the Falcons after the game, because it's been a long time we've seen the Super Falcons in Lagos at the Agege Stadium actually welcome them. We spoke with the player that scored 4 goals on that day, Desire Akpanozie, and also Thomas Denebi, who is the coach of the side, and they have this to say.
Well, I think there's been a lot of improvement since he came on board. You know, he's been trying to bring in some new stuff into the team to make sure we will have enough time to play together, to bond together and all that. It's been a lot of positivity since he's been around. So I think we're on our way to a greater future for the Super Falcons. I think towards the first half, at the first half there were lots of lapses. I had some chances I couldn't convert and all that, but thank God during the break the coaches pointed that out to me, and they told me what to do, where to be at the right time, and it worked at the second half, as you all could see that. So it was a positive match for all of us.
Of course, the expectation of this team, because they qualify to qualify for a World Cup. So if you look at the individuals in this team, the team is good enough to be one of the 3 best players from Africa. So of course, I hopefully can have another successful evening in November sometime. If you look at this squad, it's a good mix of domestic and professional players. So the people that say that now, they are not following us good enough. So just look at the squad.
Yes, that's the Super Falcons coach and also Okpanoze. And let's not forget, it's not only Nigerians that qualify to this 2018 African Cup of Nations that will take place earlier this year. We also have on the list, we have South Africa, Algeria, Gambia, Mali, Zambia, Equatorial Guinea. And before now, we know that the host nation, Ghana, will also be hosting the African female football. Before we go to the next topic, let me ask you this. There's been so much issue as regards to whether Ghana will host it. But what's your opinion if there's going to be a change in hosting?
Looking at that, I think it's left for CAF because it's not our own decision, it's CAF's own decision. They need to send their own experts out there to check, know the reason why, because we know the dissolution of the Ghanaian FA, it could still be a problem, but maybe they just want to clear out things and get back to business.
Okay, thank you very much, Pascal. We'll go on a quick break now. When we come back, we'll be looking at tracks and field and athletics. Many interesting things, especially yesterday, the day one of the making of champion Grand Prix and relay that took place at Yaba Technology in Lagos here. That's an interesting moment on the show. I still have Pascal in the house. Pascal will be going straight away from football, and we'll look at athletics. Yesterday, at the making of champion, in venue that took place yesterday, interesting moment took place, and that is one of the major competition, which is the first for making of champion after the Commonwealth Games. Before we look at the game proper, what can you say about athletics at the Commonwealth Games that just ended some months ago?
Talking about Nigeria's performance, I must tell you, many people are not so happy with what happened. You know, we can still do better. That's always been the thing. You know, we can always do better than what we did in the past. And I can tell you, looking at some incidents that happened out there in Australia at the Gold Coast, some moments were really interesting. Some moments show that, yes, we have what it takes, you know, some people breaking records and all. But it's still a good one for our athletes. And I can tell you, they just still need to keep on pushing, especially the federation. You know, what effort and what ways do they make sure that the pathway for these athletes is always at ease, so that whenever they go out, they make us proud.
We spoke with one-time African champion, one of the best in sprinting in Nigeria. That's talking about Deji Aliu. And Deji Aliu was really, he's the coach of the making of champion. And he has done so well for African. He has done so well for himself. And he spoke about the present state of athletics in Nigeria. He said it's something that that's not really on the uprise, that is really declined right now, talking about the Athletic Federation of Nigeria and also athletes. He has this to say. And when we come back, we'll be talking about another medalist at the recently concluded Commonwealth Games.
Well, so far, I mean, like everybody knows, there's been a decline in, you know, with the performance of our athletes. And yeah, we are trying to do all we can, trying to do our best to make sure we can revive athletics and take us back to the glorious days. We've been working very, very hard. It's not a rocket science, but I'm very, very positive. We'll still get back to our glorious days very soon. Well, they still have a long way to go. They still have a lot to do because you know, the situation is really bad. very, very bad. So, I mean, they have a lot to do, and I'm not going to say they are not trying, but they need to try more. But the motivation right now is at the lowest. Athletes are not motivated. You know, the incentive are not there. There's very, very, very few competition, no competition, if I have to say. And as an athlete, you need competition to really, really assess what you and your coach have been doing, you know, in training. So a lot needs to be done in terms of administration, in terms of competition, in terms of a lot of things. And I've not seen them doing that, but I hope they will, you know, have everything and probably do the right thing so that we can move forward. Oh, well, the only difference, as far as I'm concerned, I think then we were very determined, we were very passionate, we were very hardworking, and should I say focused. And some of those things are missing right now. But hopefully, you know, we'll try and revive it, and we'll get those things back, and I think everything will be fine again. It gave Nigeria a lot of hope that, you know, the future is going to be very, very bright. I mean, looking at the caliber of athletes that went there, they were all young athletes, and it speaks volume for our future as far as athletics is concerned. Some have the mind, they have the intention of, you know, you see, the thing is this, if you have a machinery in place, then people can come in. I don't think right now there's any machinery in place that encourage the former athletes to come in. And I can tell you, some of them are doing a lot. I mean, I'm not going to mention them there, but I know some former athletes that are doing so much to give back to, you know, to the sport. Like I said, I don't want to mention them, but some few of them are, you know, are doing, you know, different things in their own little ways to give back. But you see, the thing is this, the machinery is not really is not in place to encourage that give back. Until there's a machinery in place, then that's when that give back will be very effective. But right now, people are just doing their own little, you know, they are just doing the little they can. Well, I think it's a matter of choice. That's what they want to do. But I think I'll just probably try to encourage other athletes not to do the same. They should try and endure, persevere, and it will be okay. I mean, as far as track and field is concerned, it's not where you are. It's basically what you can do. It's not about being in Qatar or being in anywhere. Wherever you are, it's purely performance. If you are in Qatar and you're not doing very well, it's still going to be the same thing. If you are in Nigeria and you are doing well, you're still going to get the benefit of track and field. So, you know, I know the situation is really bad, but I will really not encourage athletes to abscond. They should just try and endure, persevere, and it will be well.
It's that's Deji Aliu saying that it is nowhere, it's not where you are, it's your performance. And that brings us to the topic of we see some of that later before the Commonwealth Games started. We have Emmanuel Bandele absconding, and we used the word absconding, left the camp, where it was part of our 400 meters hopeful. What do you think can stop that?
I think you should already know, it's not only in athletics, but sports in Nigeria. Welfareism has always been a very big problem. The issue of welfareism, how are these players or athletes being taken care of? You know, that has been one issue, you know, that keeps on happening again and again and again. Now you go to places like Bahrain, Qatar, you see a lot of Nigerian athletes of Nigerian descent, you know, representing these other countries. You ask yourself, what's the difference between these two countries? You know, welfareism has just been the issue. You know, money due to these athletes, is it being paid at the right time? You know, how much is it? You know, what are the training facilities on ground? Because it's not only about the welfareism too, but we talk about the equipment on ground to make these athletes to be top-notch. Harnessing the talent is not just he himself being a talent, but he becoming the best he can be, you know, in athletics or in whatever field he finds himself in.
Yeah, welfareism and proper structures, machinery in place. Do you think that will actually stop the choice of running or representing other country if that's in place? Because I know that beyond Africa, though, we have the largest percentage of that immigration, so to say. Do you think, what do you think will prompt not representing your country, even in the fact that you have proper welfareism and also proper structure?
Maybe it could just be the choice of the athletes, you know, in that situation. Maybe he just has an emotional attachment to that other country. That could just be the reason. Or sometimes it could be maybe how he was treated a time ago, or maybe when something happened or the management or the administration, that is in charge of him, maybe they didn't treat him properly, he might just decide to move on to another country.
Yeah, it's a lot of us are expecting to see Emmanuel Bamidele representing Qatar at the last Commonwealth Games. But speaking also is the very fact that you need to know that the procedures and technicalities that you need to follow, and that was expected from IAAF. Unfortunately, this week we'll bring you some of the details of what you need to do, the requirement for a particular athlete to leave for another athlete. Yes, talking about enhancing words, Making of Champion has been one particular organization, so to say, that have been enhancing talent in this part of our country. At the last Commonwealth Games, we have Joe Udo Gabriel, who is owned, giving scholarship by Making of Champion, and she won the 4x100 with the likes of our own queen of the track, talking about Okagbari. What do you think needs to be done also by other people who love athletics so much to do this?
It's not only by other people. Let's look at the body in charge of athletics in the country, which is the AFN. The election alone was war, I must tell you. That shows you already that most of these leaders of the administration, they don't really have in mind of what these athletes and how their careers end up and all. Because if you look at what Making of Champions is doing, it's good, I must tell you, it's a very good thing. But, I think the AFN, they have more work to do. And also the the Ministry of Sports also. Now looking at the National Sports Festival, which should be like a platform where you could discover younger talents, that could go on. Blessing Okagbare was, discovered from that tournament. Now for the past 4 years, since 2014, which they were meant to have done the centenary out there in Calabar, it didn't hold. And now, it's now 4 years gone down the line. Now you can imagine in the space of 4 years, how many talents that are meant to have been produced are not produced. So it's not only about Making of Champions doing this. We should be having a very good turnout of talent year in, year out, quality competitions, secondary school competitions, even primary school competitions, because I believe, if you want to get the best, you should start from, as little as the grassroots.
Yes, as I look at the grassroots, I'm sure that's what Making of Champion are doing right now. We have Making of Champion, one of the first time she's going out of the shore of Africa. I was talking about Joe Udo Gabriel, who all support has been given to her by the Making of Champion. She's has to say as regards to her career so far, and the next thing after winning a bronze medal at the just concluded Commonwealth Games in Australia.
The Commonwealth was my first international competition, and so I decided to give it my best as the first outing, and I did my PB in the 100 meters, and then I had a bronze medal in the 4x1 with the rest of my teammates. No, I wasn't. I was excited meeting the likes of Free Surprise, having to run with alongside Okagbare and the rest of them. It was exciting. My target going into the Commonwealth Games was to get to meet new people, know about all the stars I watch on TV, and I think I was able to achieve that. I got to know about some people. Well, the atmosphere is quite different, obviously. It's not like Nigeria. The atmosphere is conducive enough for you to train, and also everything in general is quite different from Nigeria. The World Juniors in Finland, which is next month, so that's the next target for me. Yes, I think I need to. You need to compete with other people outside the country and know how it feels to compete with others. When you bend down with them, you know what it feels like. You can't just be competing at the local level and be happy. So once in a while, you need to step up your game. Yes. I am trying my best to keep up, because if they regard you as one of Nigerians fastest and you have a bright future, you have to work towards it. You have to step up your game, because you can't just say because they say you are Nigerians fastest, you now relent. You can't relent because there are other people coming behind. Other people want to do better.
Yeah, you can see the excitement on our face, I'm sure. Commonwealth Games have really taught us so many things, and that's why she's speaking so authoritatively and so happy with her career so far. Yeah, it's been an interesting time on the show today. I want to say a big thank you for those that have been part of the show. You can join us on our social media pages to drop your comments and really express yourself as regards to this lively moment on the show. And not forgetting a big thank you to Pascal for making it down here today.
I think it's more thank you to you guys, for bringing us down here to your studios.
Thank you very much. And I'm thinking of saying the minds of our viewers there is the very fact that when are we going to get some of these comics? At least we can give our viewers out there so that they can really know what the texture and everything's all about.
We'll surely talk about that, but they can also visit the website, NigeriaFootball11.com, NigeriaFootball, FUTBOL. 11.com. They can check out all the comics we've brought out concerning Nigeria football. Put it maybe on the tablets of their kids, maybe on the system. That they could also check it out there. There are lots of beautiful stories you would really love to see there.
Yeah, thank you very much. And a goodbye to you for those that have been keeping in touch with us. And let's not forget our World Cup special moments will always continue. So stay with us as we give you all those World Cup moments as the World Cup highlights and analysis breaks up. For me, to the rest of you, enjoy the rest of your day.